don't want to bet Justin Thomas. Ugh. And then come on the show next week telling you how I'm never betting Justin Thomas again.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Arnold Palmer Invitational Picks, Bets, One and Done, plus a recap of the Cognizant Classic, and if enough markets open in time, Jeff, we'll talk about Puerto Rico as well, which may actually be the more fun thing to bet this week.
Very possibly, but I love Bay Hill. We'll get a real golf event. Exciting. There's a couple guys I'm eyeing in Puerto Rico though that I want to hit on the release. So we'll see if they drop that.
Well, who are those guys off the top of your head? Let's just talk about that in case people are watching this like, oh shit, we need to get in on the Puerto Rico event numbers before they all get crushed. Because everyone's going to bet like the same four guys.
I want to bet Rico Hoy and Carl.
Phillips.
Carl V. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
You enjoyed the debut of Phillips or the second week of Phillips at the Cognizant?
I was impressed enough to want to bet him at the Puerto Rico Open if I get something close to what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at Cootie. Ryan Gerard is probably on that list, although I think he opened it 28-1 or something crazy like that. And Chris Goddard was the other one. I bet him 2 years ago, or I bet him last year here after a seventh. I think the first year he was there, he did nothing, but he seems like the type of guy that could do well here. Although, when I did the research show and just looked back through the winners of Puerto Rico, and I'll have a little bit of this information in the newsletter, as much information as I have on the Puerto Rico Open, I will put in the newsletter, that guys who consistently play well just always seem to play well. Ben Coles is the one I was thinking about. Ben Coles is probably my favorite bet on the board. I believe he's 50-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's I don't even know, like, I wouldn't even call these guys the wheel of losers, right? Like, they can do well in Puerto Rico to then have the opportunity to become wheel of loser type guys.
Oh, 100%. Is there a bigger wheel of loser type guy that we've seen over the past, I don't know, 10 years than Russell Henley now?
I get a lot wrong. I don't think I've ever made an outright bet on him in 10 years. In 10 years.
I have. Doesn't go well.
So that's the only thing I could feel good about that. And you don't want to see him with his hat off either. Saw that firsthand in Montreal, Pat. Scary.
He needs to get some Nutrafol, as you'll find out midway through this show. You got to preemptively take the pills, and then you'll be fine.
Okay, yeah. Either some Nutrafol or, a while ago gotten on a plane to Turkey or something. But leaving what he's got is the least optimal choice one could make.
When you're always wearing a hat, people don't notice, though. It's like Spieth. Like, for years, people didn't
But
realize
then
how
when
bald
you take
Spieth
it
was.
off, you scare the living shit out of people. Like, you're right. You can hide it with the hat. But that one moment where it has to come off at a sponsor's event and it's just all these, golfing bros, and you take it off and you're like, holy, like, what do? You can't even look at them in the eye.
I guess I'm not as freaked out by bald people as you are, it seems.
I'm not freaked out by them, but like, we all know these people. Like, just say goodbye. Who just said Snedeker? Like, that Snedeker hair, Pat. He used to be able to pull the most incredible high crown that would flow over the high crown. That's what I like to do when I rock the high crown. He just said, I'm not going to be Russell Henley. It's gone. And you respect it. The Tiger's got to have a hard conversation. But he clearly invested a lot of money, it seems like, at an earlier time where he's like, no, I invested in this. I got to, try to get some of my money's worth, I think.
So with the Cognizant at PGA National, I only listened to the first few. I didn't even really listen on Thursday when everyone was going nuts and Jake Knapp shot a 59. And then people were freaking out on the internet. That I did see. But I got to watch a ton of Saturday and Sunday, and it seemed like old PGA National to me. It's funny that one day just made everyone fly off the deep end.
Was it like were the scoring averages were the water balls like up to standard?
I mean, I watched the leaders come down the stretch on Saturday. A little bit of wind got introduced and everyone went in the water. I don't think I've seen a professional hit a shot so fat as Taylor Montgomery did on 15 the moment he took the lead. Then he hit it, then he hit it fat again into the water.
You know what? I need to roll something back here. The PGA National and the PGA Tour do not get their flowers because Jesper Svensson and Taylor Montgomery blew up. They just don't. They do not. That does not make up for breaking a hardened social contract with your most loyal fans. A 59 at PGA National.
I mean, you
That's
didn't
like
you
walking
didn't
into
say
McDonald's
you didn't say
and
this.
asking for
No.
quinoa.
You did not say this when Matt Jones fired a 60 to open like 4 years ago.
It was not 59.
Oh, sorry. I mean, if you take the Jake Knapp finished at what?
What was the second best score the day Matt Jones shot a 60?
Let's see. Matt Jones shoots a 60.
What was the scoring average the day Matt Jones shot a 60?
Let's find out. But it didn't seem like you were all that perturbed by other people having good scores. It was mad because you got a 59. And dude was electric. I went back and watched the highlights. He just seeked it. He made every putt and he was dialed in driving and irons. It was a great round.
Listen, clearly it was a great round. It was a clear lack of understanding. There's not a spot of rough. The pin placements were pathetic. It's like, yeah, I went to McDonald's. They said no nuggets. Here's quinoa. Enjoy it.
I mean, people get pretty bent out of shape about some of this stuff. Like, calm down. It's a tier 3 tournament on tour.
59, you've got a better chance of shooting a 59 at Augusta.
That's not true.
Like a 59 at PGA National should just never happen. It shouldn't be in the cards.
See, I'm trying to find the year that Matt Jones won. 2021, maybe? Yeah, there it is. He shot a 61 in the first round. Russell Henley was 64 that day. So was Aaron Wise. Stricker was 66. So was Kevin Chappell. So was Cam Davis. So was Scott Harrington. So was Joseph Bramlett. And that's when it was a par 70.
What were the field averages?
I don't fucking know, man. I'm not. You go look back at it. You go find the scoring average. I'm just telling you, there was a 61, 64, 64, 66, 66, 66, 66. It was pretty low. Put it that way.
Impressive golf on a serious golf course. Listen, we had two big winners this week, Pat. Two of them, Highsmith and the Honda Motor Corp. Congratulations to both of them.
It's just really ridiculous. Like, you need to calm down. It's a tier C level tournament on the PGA Tour.
It was the greatest C level tournament on the PGA Tour
anymore.
And hold on, no, it was. That's my point. And all the tour does is do things. They like bully their most hardcore loyal fans. Like 59s at PGA National go hand in hand with taking match play off the schedule. They're just things that the people who support you and love you the most just want or don't want to see. They're experts at doing that. So yeah, good on them. Congrats Honda, congrats Joe. And people ask me, I don't mind the sun hat. Sun hat doesn't get me. It's like fedoras or the little buckets. I'm a polar bear. I'm pale as fuck. If you've been out for me and those clouds part and that sun is beaming, I'll go into my bag and rip out a sun hat because I just want no part. I want no part of that sun. That sun is undefeated. I'm not taking it on. So yeah. I don't like the long sleeves, though. When guys wear, like, the Asian lady sun sleeves, that's a line too far. Gracerman or Joe, one of them wears those sometimes. But it's nice to see UV ray protection in the winner's circle.
I do notice a lot of guys that come over from the DP World Tour wear the long sleeve undershirt. They're probably used to it because when they start playing, it's, like, kind of cold during the year.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could be. Now that you say that, I guess does seem like something you see. Weird ending in Europe. I saw none of it, but they played 54 and they had to bring the guys out for a playoff, and some rando won his national open. So that's awesome.
Is that
But
what
I never heard of the guy.
I thought Cantor won.
No, went to a playoff. Cantor lost to this guy in a playoff.
Oh, I just saw that
They brought them out on Sunday afternoon to play a playoff. A drivable par 4 for a playoff hole. Yeah. Anyway, it's like a chipping contest, essentially. But hey, congrats, buddy. Buddy won that. I saw a lot of Open Championship invitations were handed out last weekend. Some fun, cool stories. Some like biker gang member won one in New Zealand or something, Pat.
We got one this week too. The lowest player in the field who is not currently qualified for the Open Championship will earn a berth into the Open Championship this week. Because I remember it happened with Zalatoris last year. He was the low player who is not currently in the field. He got his way in, but there is a cutoff date that if the player does qualify before that time, it then reverts to like the next person down on the list. So if whoever gets it this week qualifies for the Open Championship by July 1st or June 30th or something like that, then it will revert to the next person down. So you could retroactively have qualified for the Open and not even known it.
Fascinating. And I saw Liv is playing versus Bay Hill.
Yeah, Liv is playing in Hong Kong this week.
I know the times are different, but again, it goes to my bandwidth conversation
Agreed.
from last week. They go head to head with Genesis. They go head to head with Bay Hill. They leave Mexico and Palm Beach open. What's the matter with these people? There's only so much golf to talk about that people care about. Even guys like me and you. I know there's like a percentage within how hardcore we are, Pat. Maybe younger, don't have kids yet, or just whatever. I just don't understand how they think the golf consciousness gives a shit to find room for them on a week like Bay Hill.
To kind of emphasize your point, here's what I don't understand. They've put out a promotional photo for Live Golf Hong Kong on the official Live Golf Twitter account. Do you know who the 4 players on the poster are for Hong Kong?
Now I'm supposed to think randomly.
It's not randomly. It's just who are the 4 players you think you would have on the poster? Put it that way.
Okay, Bryson, Rahm. I would have Neiman and Hatton, but that's not me. Those are the 4 best players on the tour.
You got 2 of them. Rahm and Neiman are both on it. Bryson and Hatton are not. Not having Bryson on a poster is insane.
I mean, Hatton, that's fine. Hong Kong, like they are about courtesy and respect, and maybe they got no time for players like Hatton. But Bryson is arguably the worldwide face of golf right now. You can make arguments on that, but I could argue that it is.
I mean, that's not true. The answer is still Tiger Woods.
Okay, I'm talking about like actively playing.
He plays on TGL, sir, and he's playing in the Seminole member guest today.
Okay, sorry. I hope people. I know. I agree with you. I'm not fighting anything you said. I hope semantics aside, I think my point remains.
Yeah.
Though
it's Rory or Bryson, worldwide.
Yeah, I didn't even know Scheffler wasn't in TGL. Like that's how. It didn't even dawn on me that he wasn't in TGL. That's how for how awesome he is. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. But that's TGL's whole thing. I have a TGL thing coming up because someone actually emailed in a very interesting question about TGL, and I have a response to it, but I want to get yours. So the other 2 players on this poster, it's Answer and Patrick Reed.
They've been the winners there?
I think Answer won last year.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of.
Answer I remember this last year. I had Casey and Cam Smith, and Answer beat them in the playoff. Great. Fun times. And maybe Reed ended up winning the first year. It's just really strange not to put the biggest, as you mentioned, a guy who is either the face of golf or the second biggest face in golf on your poster when you're promoting, hey, come and watch this event. Nah, not happening. Can we talk about Jake Knapp for a second on Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're his caddy, and as it turned out, had he have went back and taken that drop, with the way, because Highsmith ended up making that bomb on 17, and that basically sealed the tournament for him. He wins at -19. But there's no way you're advising that he tried to hit that ball out of the water, right?
I gotta admit, I didn't see it. I saw it after the fact. He put it there from the fairway. No, I'm usually not. But it's tough to fight the player in that moment, Pat, where they feel like they'd rather try to win the tournament than lose, second place or something. Like they're trying to save the tournament. But yeah, he could have gone back there and made a bogey.
Yeah.
We saw guys get up and down from hazard penalties all week, starting from Daniel Berger's 250 out from the morning go, saving par. So yeah, the amount of like great recovery shots I saw all week, you're right. He definitely, I mean, in hindsight, sure, but there was a bogey. There was an 8-foot bogey putt to be there.
For sure. He ends up making triple on the hole because it stays in the water. And then he tries to hit it out again and it barely gets out and gets into the rough. It was a lot different than Michael Kim the day before, who hit it out of the mud. Like his ball wasn't in the water. He had to stand in the water. Now his ball was in the water. It was like half covered. And it was a big upslope to get it up, too. It's not like there was nothing in front of him.
How are you going to get enough to clear the upslope? Fair points. And he had some.
I guess the only out would be that, like, if he felt like he had enough to get it out of the water and up onto, like, into the rough wherever it was, you don't go walk back to, 138 yards and have to fire at the pin while taking a penalty. Your penalty stroke is now just the shot that you took, and now you have it like 15 feet from the hole. I guess that's the logic that goes into it, but just to see where he was buried, it was like, man, what are we doing here? I felt bad.
And he was asked about it. I didn't see any video, but I saw a transcript. He's like, I saw the top of the ball, like the very top of the ball. He thought he had enough of the ball. That was his explanation. Yeah, I don't know, man. The wheels spin fast. The wheels spin fast when it's happening to you. Like just a disaster shot. And holy shit, that kid hit he was Doug Gim hitting putts. Like everything looked like it was to 12 feet, but he hit the putts all freaking day looking at the numbers. And even on Saturday. So yeah, he's Doug Gim who hit the putts.
Did you see Doug Gim's miss putt on the back nine from 2 feet? He left it short.
It might have been 14 or 15. I don't know. I was really out. I was like really saw as little as this as I'll see of much. Had some family in town. Watched Highsmith hit the putt on 17. That I saw.
That was a big time putt.
It was a great putt. It was a great shot. He came to stones with all those holes. Like the way he misses, like he just, I don't know, he was flushing it. So I don't know, good on him. I only saw one winner, 100 to 1.
Drew.
Our boy,
Drew Matthews,
fantasy golf bag.
Yeah, Drew Matthews hit the 100 to 1. Yeah. I saw that Bales has this new like AI generated pick service, like where it scans the internet for picks, and it took Kirshner's pick of Highsmith, but Kirshner didn't actually have him on the final card. He got a lot of credit, I think, for hitting the winner, but he didn't actually bet it, as it turns out. That sucks.
I missed that. Oh, I'm sure BK had a great tweet. I don't understand how it listened to his show.
I think he wrote Highsmith up as like a player to watch and like in one of his articles, but I don't think he ended up getting there in the end because everyone bet Lee Hodges except for me, and then he WD'd and everyone kind of switched up what their picks were going to be because they had extra money allocated to them throughout the week. And it was just something that like he kind of forgot about. I mean, that happens to me all the time. I'll be like, I'm in on this guy. And by the time it comes to like make bets, I totally forget who I said that I liked.
Yeah. And you're so deep into the forest on the golf content that like I'm just like Highsmith and Gracerman, not that they blur together, but like your thoughts can blur together. You are like so deep into the trees at this point. And we've only been doing this. Has it even been 2 months?
Yeah, this will be 2 months right now. Although it's funny, the running joke on the DraftKings pick show that I do with Tambo is that Highsmith and Bridgman are exactly the same person when I see their names, and they came 1 and 2.
But that happens. I totally know exactly what you mean by that, and I think a lot of like weekly grinders know exactly what is meant by that. I
It's
thought the books were.
it's called the Brian Stewart Chris Stroud corollary.
My God, there you go. Holy
So
shit.
I'm going to make that the question in the comment section. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment and it'll get you into a draw for a year free of Fantasy National. I'm giving away the winner on Wednesday live, 9 a.m. Eastern with Tambo. So tune in if you have questions about the slate and API in Puerto Rico. We take questions to the live audience later on in the show. And then, of course, it'll always be available on demand after the fact. But who are the two players you get confused the most on tour that you just think that they're the same person? They've merged into one person. Because I did have a bit too where Highsmith, Bridgman are the same guy, but Patrick Fishburne is also kind of the same guy.
He would definitely go into that mix, and people do this properly. No low-hanging fruit like Koreans. No offense, it happens to all of us, but hey, Michael Kim is. I guess we got the woos.
And no one's getting
I just
no
went
one.
on
No,
and did
hold
what
on.
I told
No,
people not
no
to
one
do.
is getting Minwoo and Siwoo confused. That is not
No,
happening.
the woos. I meant Dylan and Brandon.
Oh, Dylan and Brandon. Okay, yes, fair enough.
One time, like even I'm guilty. One time in Canada, I called Brandon Dylan. It was just like a total, and I caught myself right away. But I knew I'd done that thing that like you don't really want to do. I caught myself doing.
So do that in the comment section. Sub to the channel on YouTube if you haven't been there, and obviously to the audio pods. We're almost at 50,000 subscribers. We're 710 away, I think. I looked right before the show. I mean, we'll do some big giveaway for 50,000 subs on YouTube. So get your mom to sign up or something like that. Help us out, and maybe we can do a big Masters giveaway, because I might, just might, Jeff, have a big Masters giveaway announcement coming soon with a bunch of stuff. I have two pretty big announcements coming up pretty soon in terms of giveaways for the audience, because I can't take this stuff, but I can give it away to you good people out there. And even you can enter the draw, Jeff, if you really want to. I had something to go with this. Cognizant. Oh, Michael Kim. Guy's having a great year.
What a year. He is every year there's guy maybe he hasn't won yet or won't win, but he's clearly tearing up big time. And I guess we'll find out at the end as to how long of a FedEx Cup run. But he's banking them now. Great for him.
Yeah, he's up to, I went and looked at it. I mean, this is what happens when you are a friend of the show like Michael Kim. We root for you, and I bet on him every single week. I actually thought he was going to win yesterday, and he couldn't putt. And he had been striping it off the tee so well, hitting his irons so well the first three rounds, and it's just like he got stuck in neutral all day long, and he didn't make that big 28-foot putt to ignite the round. He took the easy one on 3, took the easy one on 10, and that was kind of it. I think those were the only two birdies that he made all day when other guys are shooting 7 under out there from a little bit back in the pack. That's why I thought that Sunday was going to be super intriguing. That there was I ended up betting Spieth day of 55-1. It's if someone shoots 7 under from this range, they're most definitely going to be in it. And those scores were out there. They just didn't come from then. And it was Highsmith who ended up putting it all together, who I would not have predicted to do that. Probably why he ended up winning. It kind of sucks. I think I bet him every event of the swing season and just kind of forgot about him.
Honestly, he's kind of a total out of sight, out of mind guy for me. My card was, 59 or not. I don't know. My betting card was done on Friday.
You didn't have Henley? Because you tried to use Henley in the one and done as for the second time. And then if you had Henley score, you would have gotten to first place. But I think you had Lowry when everything was said and done.
Yeah, Lowry finished 11th. Whatever. Henry, Lowry, 2 guys. Good. Done with both of them.
Did you notice Berger's ejection down the stretch on Sunday?
He didn't seem right all week.
People said he was sick.
I didn't watch enough to be able to pick up on that. I'm amateur psychologist. I didn't have it was the most popular outright bet I've ever seen, Pat. And the Golf's tips checker account said it came in north of 40. He doesn't think he's ever seen a 40 tipped player in a full field. I knew he was done. Between that, of saying this as I'm watching it, I'm wishing I bet him at certain points. And 365 on Wednesday night had a boost for him. So I was like, that is a current people are swimming up against significantly. But I was like-minded with you when I was like, I just bet Taylor Pendrith at the Genesis 2 weeks ago and his number got hit down to like 35 to 1. I'm going to bet him instead of Berger. I don't even think he made the cut.
He did not. He missed the cut by a stroke.
But I hope that everyone who bet Berger is like angry with him. And you know me, like I'm a Berger loyalist. Won't be this week, but I will. I'll in totality, nothing but good things. So hopefully there's a bigger Berger number, a fair Berger number to be had coming up. But maybe he's played his way into like a tier where he doesn't have to do what he's been doing to start the year.
He unless he gets a big boost in one of these signature events, and he did that. I was either at Pebble or it was at the Genesis for Torrey Pines, where he picked up a bunch of points. He's almost inside the top 50 in the world right now. So when that happens, he's going to be good. If he can keep that through the Players, I think he gets his Masters invite. I'm hoping Michael Kim can have one more big week here at API, because he's at 500 FedEx Cup points right now. And I think if he top 10s, I think it might boost him into the top 50 into the world, and then he'll get in either way into the Masters, which would be awesome. You know, if you're going to be a friend of the show, I'm going to root for you every single week. And I think he only needs about 170 more FedEx Cup points the rest of the season to lock up his top 70, get in the playoffs, get his tour card, everything like that, which is just huge.
So when is the Masters cutoff? Because we're probably under 40 days.
I think it's two of them. I think one is after the Players.
Makes sense.
And then I think there's another one after. It's probably not the last week, because the last week for Valero, it's like a win and in. It's probably the week before in Houston, I'm guessing. That if or when like April flips, whenever it might be. Is the Masters like super late this year? Because I know Easter's not till the 17th or something. Easter 2025. Yeah, Easter. Do you know what? Here's another trivia question for you. I got all the trivia questions now. I'm back from vacation, Jeff. Easter in 2025. What day, what Sunday and date does it fall on?
The 20th?
That is correct. The 20th of April. I don't recall it ever being that late.
I cheated because I just searched when the Masters is, and the Sunday's April 13th, which doesn't seem that late.
Which is my birthday. Mike Weir won on my birthday on the 13th. It's time. Pendrith, Corey Connors, another Canadian going to win the Masters.
Oh, I see what you did there.
The only bet that I have in for the Masters so far is Akshay at 100 to 1. The last time that I can remember it falling on my birthday, which I'm sure is not the case. It's probably happened like 3 times in between. But the Masters Sunday being on the 13th, Mike Weir wins. He's a lefty. Maybe a lefty wins now. And Highsmith winning is great for the Akshay low lefty market at the Masters, because Highsmith ain't doing shit at the Masters.
I liked how someone tweeted us that we're like a few days away from Tim telling us he likes Highsmith at the Masters, having only learned about him yesterday.
He was always such a big fan, although he admitted he had never heard of this guy in our group chat yesterday. Like, maybe one thing, I think that's a big difference. As you and I were joking about that with Brian Campbell when he won in Mexico last week. By the way, I was so sick when I was doing the show last week. You have no idea. I almost got up to go take a shit 8 times. Like, everything was running through me in the Dominican Republic 5 minutes before we started that show. They're doing a little bit better now.
You're so diligent with how you eat. Going to a country like that's for sure gonna fuck you up for a day.
Yeah, I think what happened, I don't think that I ate anything particularly bad. It's just I kept drinking for 2 straight days without drinking water, so I was completely dehydrated. And then I eat, you said, pretty diligently, pretty safe the entire time. I'm eating a lot of just protein, just vegetables, very little fried food. And then for 3 straight days, I just packed my face with fried food and my stomach couldn't handle it.
Yeah, for sure. How about that? The books. I mean, we bet into this outright market. We do it for fun. But that's like going around the roulette table and having 0-0-0 hit on two straight. They just cleaned up.
No, they did, but I do think that Joe Highsmith, as it pertains to if you follow the tour, bet on golf, play DraftKings, go on Underdog, whatever it might be, I feel like you're aware of Joe Highsmith, whereas you could just have missed Brian Campbell.
100%. I know Joe Highsmith, but like you said, I only missed him because I think he's one of three people, but I like know who he is. Brian Campbell, I never fucking heard of before, literally. And as I said last week, that Spieth Chambers Bay where he would have won Loam, that's out of the memory. Like that doesn't exist. Like that's gone. No recall there.
If you were a plotter on tour and like you're of that level, now he has a win, he'll be in the Players, he'll be in the Masters, so obviously his life has changed a lot over the past 24 hours. But just in general, if you were one of those guys fighting for a tour card, might have to go back down to Corn Ferry, would you wear a goofy hat so people actually recognized who you were?
Well played, Pat. You could be on to something.
Like this is really the Joel Damon effect.
You wear the goofy hat. You show a bit of personality. It's a win. It's like, listen, in this era of fitness and really the data proving how much the fitness can assist you, we don't see many like heavier set golfers anymore. They are rare. Aldrich is almost like a Beef Bryson hybrid, which is exciting. But yeah, like look at like Harry Higgs, Beef. Like just if you're fat and on tour, you are instantly have notoriety. Harry Higgs got on freaking Full Swing. Beef had Arby sponsorships. Like it is an unfair advantage, but I don't think it's going to lead to much FedEx Cup points.
No. Who is the best fat player right now? Lowry?
It's got to be Lowry. Like there's no heavy set dudes making Ryder Cup teams.
Novak's not fat. Novak's tall.
He's got a punch, but he's not. He's more like Pat. Isn't he more of like the Kazire? Like he might be a brick shithouse more than like fat.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about Pot Gieter as well. He's what, like 6'9" or something like that. He's just a beefy dude, just huge.
Yeah, maybe Beef is unfit. Like maybe that's like too far in a direction, but it's like yeah. I don't know who it is, but it's like a whatever. He's himself. I don't need to compare him to anybody. But you're not wrong. Who's the best? I mean, like Lowry's fat. You would call Lowry fat, right? Like I might be polite and be like just really chubby, but no, he's fat.
I mean, he was
fat.
mad,
especially for pro golf standards.
Remember when he got put in the fat group at the U.S. Open that time?
The U.S. Open used to be egregious, though. Like they would go out of their way to be like short guys, fat guys, tall guys, brown guys. Like they had lost their way.
I thought it was hilarious.
What?
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was always good humor, but they had I guess, yeah, woke culture put an end to that. I don't think we're seeing any fat guy pairings. I think, yeah, that's fair to be called out for.
No, it was working for him. Remember when Carl Peterson lost all that weight that time, and then he sucked, and then he had to regain all the weight?
Totally get it. When you're that big, and you lose a lot of weight, like it's hard to swing your swing. Your swing is your swing.
And you do you do notice it too. Like, especially in golf, guys very like I never really thought of it before, and that's why you're seeing this new wave of like very in shape golfers, because they come in and they're like super fit and they're super in shape, that if they did change their body type throughout their career, obviously they're going to get a little bit bigger, but they'll always remain active, they'll always remain strong, always remain relatively lean, because it would just fuck up your swing if not. Like if you gain 25 pounds, like I don't know what your arm moves in a different way. Like you have that natural swing that you've always developed. You don't want to start reworking your swing because you gained or lost weight.
It's such a cop out, like to be the fat guy, to lose some weight, to put it back on and be like, I needed to do it for my swing. I actually feel like one of our all-time favorites, Barn Rat, lost some weight and then like it really fucked him.
Like, imagine if Akshay gained 100 pounds, so he would be like 87 pounds at that point because he's negative 13 right now.
I'm now like trying to picture him in a fat suit because it's impossible to see him put on that much mass. But I'm trying to like who have been just like random chubbies since we've started. Brendan DeJong comes to mind.
But Bobby Mack's not in the best of shape.
Coetzee,
Yeah,
right? The bear. What did we call him?
Coetzee was a big man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, put it this way: very few golfers look like Cam anymore.
No, but like back in the day, Stadler, right, was probably the most accomplished fat golfer.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really even get fat pitchers anymore, Pat.
That's too bad.
Like we grew up with so many fat pitchers.
There's some guy smoking just dialing up her darts in the bullpen, coming in throwing 101. We don't see those anymore.
Yeah, we lived it. I mean, yeah, we definitely, our baseball lifespan got us some good like fat relievers, for sure. They don't exist.
TGL is a doubleheader tonight, and then it's again on Tuesday. Hit the parlay last week, all three of them. Just bet the three good teams, and you're going to win. It paid plus 437. I know because that was the only bet I won all week.
So can Tony play in the playoffs for these guys?
I don't know, man. I don't think that there are rules. So this brings me to Vince. So shout out Vince. He wrote in and he asked me this question. He said, an old friend of his who loves golf, we both watch at least some TGL every single week, and we usually text about it. He was talking about how boring Cantlay is, and he thought that TGL would benefit from being an edited tape delay style broadcast, since it's essentially just a TV show with no stakes anyway. Do you think that would work and make the product better? That if they took this 2-hour product and cut it into an hour?
I agree. I don't.
But could they do that though?
For sure they do. They probably do it on like the Sportsnet edits that my dad watches, Pat.
That's true. But if you're going to if every sporting league is going to make its money from gambling, could you afford to do that?
No. Sure. That isn't good. And they like, right now they've got a good thing going in that, I guess, like you want them all canned. Like we're going to record 6 in a day. Like it's The Price is Right sort of thing.
No, but it would
air them out.
It would more or less be, hey, it's going to air at 7 p.m. Eastern like it normally would, but they're going to play at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then you cut it into a show as you go along.
I mean, like I said, I was going to say they probably want to capitalize on those football-less Monday, Tuesdays, but they don't want to pre-record it so much where there's some like integrity issues or just in internet days, like it's going to get out who won these things. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think it probably replays all over the world like that anyway, truth be told.
I think in replay it most definitely does, but as the live product when it's on, when people are watching it, I just thought it was very interesting because it would make for a snappier show, obviously. It's like here when you have Jason 30. It's like, okay, we'll watch every play.
Jason 30 makes a great snappy show, leaves in an hour. Like these things exist. In concept, they're like genius, but to the people who actually want to watch, we want to watch. And if you're watching it live, you're into it. I'm sorry, you've got a bet, you're into it. You have some interest in like a PGA Tour event cut up would be great.
I agree.
Right?
I am like when they do the replays of the rounds or the tournament on Golf Channel and they just replay the broadcast for 4.5 hours that was on is mind-boggling to me. Just cut it into an hour. Cut it into an hour and a half, each of the rounds. Like you could watch the entire tournament and throw them up on YouTube too. That would be great.
Like, right, they could save so much, but people who bet it, people who love it, there is like just yesterday, for an example, you want in the high drama situation, you like kind of want to see the guy like walking up. You want to see the guy on the tee at a par 3 surrounded by a lot of water going through like the motions or the thought process. So the live viewer, I mean, to TGL terms, you want to see them walk the 30 yards and talk it over with their teammate and win the match. Like if you're like, yeah. So, but if you're watching it live, like you don't have that luxury of asking for the cut up. It airs around the world, cut up all week long. They play those replays here in Canada all week. My dad knows so much about the TGL because in the same way he would stop on the Golf Channel and watch whatever it's on, it's the same thing. Like it's just, oh, golf, good player, hitting. Even old man giving instruction, he'd probably like stop and watch.
I'm surprised that wasn't a LIV strategy, honestly, that they could air it on their caffeine app or they air it wherever. But they do have those supercuts on YouTube that are half an hour for each round, and they're actually really good. I very much enjoy watching them. That I'm somewhat surprised that wasn't the product that they tried to sell internationally to some of these sports stations. Because, hey, here's a cheap product you can air for half an hour or an hour, and it would have the effect that you're talking about. Like if your dad was flicking around channels and Dustin Johnson was hitting or Bryson was hitting, you'd stop.
100%. And here's the thing. He's not alone. I use my dad, but it's just like a talking point for all of our dads. Doesn't have an app. He's not making bets. He does not give a shit. There have been times, Pat, we joked, they go to like a rain delay and they're airing last year's coverage. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even remember who won.
I know.
You could say those are all indictments of my father, who's an 80-year-old man, but I'd say that's more like the norm. It's fucking golf. You know what I mean?
I agree. I've mentioned the story before, but I won so much money live betting a friend at Tim Butts' wedding. We were all in the wedding party together because they were showing a replay of the year previous Masters. I've just taken a guy's money hole by hole and sitting next to me. Man, I can't believe Charlie Hoffman's not going to win this. Like, man, I don't think he's going to hold on this time, man.
Okay, the Masters, I'll give my dad enough credit. I think he would like catch on Sunday, but not on like U.S. Open. We're replaying Friday because we're in a rain delay, or when CBS has to replay last year's weekend because golf's been canceled. Like no chance. I mean, like of regular events, no chance.
The hilarious part about betting him with the Masters, it wasn't even April. It was in March. Like they were just showing the Masters on TV. So TGL tonight, we got Los Angeles at the Bay. The Bay is a minus 102. They're right around even money. LA is a big favorite here. But I believe, if I have this figured out properly, that the Bay has already clinched the 1 seed, I think. Ludwig's not playing. That's correct. It's Minwoo, Lowry, and Clark against Tommy, Morikawa, and Thiegal. I think there's some value on LA here against our Bay. I don't like betting against our Bay, but it's like a bye week for them. They're resting their dudes.
It is a bye week, but like, you know, when like the NBA or like when the star player is out for a game, everyone else raises up.
You think
that's just like,
that's what it's going to be?
I'm joking. I don't have a fucking clue. I've missed opportunities because I've seen a lot of my friends are crushing it. I've made 2 bets this year. The Bay to win the whole thing preseason and the Bay week 1. I've just not been, maybe I've been leaving money on the table. I've just not gotten into it as a betting exercise.
Oh, here we are. Well, Underdog is the way that you want to play this. I'll get to that in a second. So I actually like LA against the Bay tonight, although the only one I really want to bet is Atlanta over Jupiter, and they're minus 167 right now. I still think it's a good bet. I can't figure out who's better between Boston and New York. It's probably New York.
Who?
Because Xander's back, too.
LA, who plays for Jupiter these days? It's just Tiger Kisner and Tom Kim?
No, they just they signed. No, that was the Atlanta Drive. Picked up Nick Dunlap. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's like Tiger Kisner and whoever else they have. Someone terrible, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's Tom Kim.
Yeah, it is Tom Kim. Tom Kim, like actually, you know who's great at TGL? Wyndham Clark. Guys nails.
One of the reasons.
Just makes every putt.
One of the reasons, yeah. Well, it was a part of your preseason preview on why this team was going to be a wagon.
Underdog has caught up. So I like the Atlanta Drive Tuesday night. at minus 167 over Jupiter. I really don't even care who plays for Jupiter at this point. It'll be fine. So Underdog, what's been hitting is just the lowers on total holes won, individual holes won. The only week I got a bit greedy and totally forgot that Kevin Kisner plays on one of the teams and that people would just win holes against him. And that's what happened with Ricky Fowler. So we can go Colin Morikawa, total holes won, lower than 3.5. Because they're playing against the Bay. You just have to assume that there's going to be a lot of pushes on these holes. They're just going to have an all-squared hole most of the time. So we can go Morikawa lower than 3.5 holes won. Everyone else is like juiced to the lower is the problem. We can go Rory lower than we can go lower than 3.5 as well. There's a 60% boost in the Underdog lobby right now that you can use. I mean, the max you can play on these is $50 anyway, so you might as well throw a few of them on it. So we can go Minwoo, singles holes, 1. Against LA, we'll go lower on him as well. That gets us up to around 8 to 1. We can put $50 on it. There we go, 50 into 400. So use code Mayo at Underdog right now. You get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000, which you can use to do the best ball drafts for PGA that start at the Masters. I have a Pat Mayo experience, 2 leagues, rake free coming very soon, and then use the rest of the cash to play the pick'em game for TGL lower. So Morikawa lower than 3.5, Rory lower than 3.5, Minwoo lower than 0.5 holes won overall in singles. So we only get to 2 singles, and that's the way that I want to go with this. What do you think?
I love it, and I am very excited because I'm going to Scottsdale next week. So
Are
I
you?
was gonna say I could play Underdog, but maybe it's banned there too.
I think you
I don't
can.
know.
I believe that you can in Arizona because I think DFS. Well, maybe you can't. I don't know. You could probably do best ball drafts. I mean, you go register, and hopefully I'll have the Pat Mayo experience. When are you leaving to go to Scottsdale?
I'm leaving on Sunday, but don't worry, we're still gonna do a player show.
We're gonna do our players mega preview.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you want to do it, I'll have stuff.
So you leave on. You say you leave on Sunday or leave on Monday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay. I'm gonna say, should we film it beforehand? But then the odds aren't right. That's tough, right?
Yeah, it's tough. We've kind of learned our lesson that there's just we try to do these things early, and there's just such hard resets that just seems pointless for how long the early one lives.
Oh, for sure. And there will be odds out for the players. I suppose we could.
And you'll do a research show.
I'll do a research show. I was thinking about doing the player by player as well, or do some version of the player by player. Maybe the player by player has run its course a little bit. Maybe it'll be a first look at the field with a guest that I don't normally have on. I haven't had Raza on in a while. Just talk players with Raza would be fun.
And I'm game. Like I'm still happy, even with the time change, to record like super early.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Nothing's gonna change.
All right, and we'll get Cust on for his 3 picks. It's not officially a major; it's the 5th major, which is like being the 89th major because there's only 4. But we need to get Cust picks for this, and we'll be doing will you be able to do the Cut Sweat show or no? Are you out on that?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pass on the cut sweat.
I'll grab Byron. Byron,
Yeah.
and Kenny will do the Cut Sweats with Cust or something.
Yeah, you'll have a great cut sweat. I'll be back for the Masters cut sweat.
Yeah, which we forgot to do last year, and I won 20 grand on it.
That was awesome.
Maybe the whole key is to not do the Cut Sweat show, and I'll actually win money on things.
But you tweeted that ticket. It's not like that ticket would have been given out on the cut sweat. You'd already given it.
Correct. I mean, it's one of the main reasons that people still watch this show after like decades of losers. Oh, Pat just gave us a free 125 to 1. This is great. And then you had the people like, I can't play to make the cut parlays at my sports book. It's like, it's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. I hate when that happens. Like, I wish you could play the same things that I'm playing, but I don't control the government regulations on what you can bet on and cannot bet on in your state.
Can't argue that.
What's going on with Pizzola? I saw, I haven't really been paying attention to Circles Back or anything like that. Is he doing some bit online now?
Oh, you mean like he changed his avatar? Yeah, he's just doing some bit. He's deep into I don't even know actually. You're talking about the avatar. This thing that he does like mocking Capper life or these 1 or 2 minute videos saying what he's up to in his day. I'm going to see him this afternoon. I missed the origin story of this, so I have no idea. And I'm going to be like, Rob, I don't know the origin story, and they've just come off as weird and cringy to me. So I hope you have a good origin story for me.
All right.
But yeah, it could have something to do with circle back or some of that nonsense.
I mean, you're on that show, so I would figure you would know what was going on.
Yes, but sometimes I show up to that show less prepared than I did for university exams. Like, I don't know the source material, but I think they also like it that way.
Yeah, that's probably better to get your reaction to things. So, yes,
Yeah.
you can catch Geoff on Circles Back every Tuesday morning with Pizzola over on the Circles Back or Circles Off YouTube channel.
Circles off. Yeah, it's confusing. Circles off YouTube channel. The show Circle Back. Yeah, here we go.
Have you noticed how Pat Mayo seems a whole lot better rested recently? It's no secret. I got my old mattress, took it outside, threw it in the trash the moment my Helix mattress showed up. My wife and I took the quiz on helixsleep.com. We went through everything and we decided the firmness. We wanted the temperature, how we actually sleep, and all of a sudden the mattress shows up, we lay down, and I'm not having a lot of the sleep problems that I've been having in the past. I just wake up 50 times a night. Not no more with my Helix mattress. I was sleeping on my side with my head underneath my pillow, and I was getting chicken wing for when I woke up, and my back and my shoulders were sore because there was a divot inside my old mattress where I've been sleeping on it so long. Now, all of that has gone. It's been such an upgrade with my Helix mattress that I'm getting full sleep, and even my Apple Watch is telling me that I'm getting a far more full sleep this time. I'm not hitting 54% on my sleep cycle anymore. Now I'm up at like 90%, even 100% some nights. So hopefully this can help you out as well. And you can go to helixsleep.com/PatMayo for the March Madness sale, which is 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/PatMayo for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/PatMayo. Look, I know we got a lot of male listeners out there, and that amongst us, hair thinning, very common. It's a very frustrating problem that many men deal with, from stress to nutrition to hormones and lifestyle. So many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. Luckily, Nutrafol is here to help. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For me, it's all preventative. If I can take this now, hopefully I'm not going to have to deal with any thinning down the line. But if you want to build a hair growth routine, it's simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries, and free shipping to keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is also included. So, start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code PatMayo. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code PatMayo. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code PatMayo. Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. 2 hours, a hammer drop, an overtime force, and playoffs on the line golf with 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. This Tuesday, Jupiter versus Atlanta. Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Tom Kim, Kevin Kisner taking on Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, and Lucas Glover. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for TGL, only on ESPN and ESPN+. Keep up. It's golf. All right, let's talk about something I thought I'd never say. I give up coffee, and not just for a day, not just for a detox. I actually stopped drinking coffee because I found something that makes me feel so much better. It's called Peaks Nandaka. And listen, it's not just another coffee alternative. It's the upgrade your body has been waiting for. I used to wake up needing coffee to function, and then I'd pound a whole bunch of coffee, but then after the morning buzz wore off, I was not feeling great. I was drained by the afternoon, and most of the time I'd probably have to take a nap. And don't even get me started on the bloating and the stomach issues. I knew I needed something different and something that actually supported my body instead of depleting it, making me dehydrated all day long, and that's when I found Nandaka. If you're sick of feeling wired, tired, or just running on fumes, you need to try Nandaka today. Right now, Peak is offering 20% off for life and a free starter kit with your purchase. That's a rechargeable frother and glass beaker to make the perfect cup every time. Just go to peaklifecom/mayo. That's PIQUE life.com/mayo. Trust me, your energy, your gut, and your future self will thank you. API. We waited. The problem with API, it's not a fun tournament to bet on because Scotty's probably going to win. It's at Bay Hill. Scotty's won here 2 of the past 3 years, almost won the other year that Kitayama ended up winning. It's a hard course. Looks like there's wind in the forecast. It's a tough putting course, which actually favors the kind of crappier putters because all of the good putters aren't making all their 10-footers. They're just missing. You got to be good at tee to green. You got to stay out of the water, and you need to be able to get it up and down a few times throughout the course of the weekend. You have to beat up on the par fives. If you are not beating up on the par fives, you literally have no chance of winning this tournament. But this course is tailor-made for Scotty, isn't it? He's won 2 of the past 3 years. He won by 5 last year.
It is tailor-made for Scotty, and I swear to you, my first reaction, it's not that I didn't know what the basic math would be, but I just put okay, so if I bet $500-600 on Scotty, it wins. I'm just like, no, I can't do it. Even though I kind of want to and think he's going to win, that's just a bet I have no interest in making. But holy shit. Even I'd argue I don't even mind Rory either. I'm not betting him, but yeah, I don't go far here. I might just copy my Torrey Pines card, which was trying to win a US Open.
That's not actually a bad strategy. So Jason Day and the hell is the other guy now? Now I'm completely flubbing on who it is. Jason Day and someone else have won Torrey Pines and this tournament. Mark Leishman. In the same year, or not in the same year, over the past decade, they've won both of those tournaments at Torrey, at Bay Hill. And we've just seen a lot of guys who've done really well at Torrey Pines in the stronger events end up showing up here as well. There's a few outliers on the list, like Rahm has never played particularly well here. Xander has never played particularly well here. Neither has Sam Burns, someone like that. You have guys that are a bit stickier over time. And if it does get windy, I think it does help some of the Euro players a little bit more. But other than that, the only thing I can really lend is that you might want to save some bullets in the chamber for Sunday. We've seen a lot of big Sunday comebacks here. Remember Rory's, Molinari's. I can't believe Hatton stuck on to win it for us that one year when it played impossible. Matt Fitzpatrick was the only guy to shoot lower than 70 the entire weekend.
I hadn't thought about that, but you are right. Some insane Sunday situations.
And it goes all with the putter, too. It was the most strokes Rory ever gained in a single round putting the year that he made the big comeback. I remember Bryson came in second. And Molinari was just draining 40-footers from across the green.
Oh, Molinari was just straight magical that day.
And Scheffler, the first year he won, had the big comeback. Because I recall Kenny even getting Scheffler, I believe it's 60-1 or something like that on Saturday, because he was 7 strokes back. And he just grinded his way back in. And then he got stuck by that tree, and then he had to punch it out, and then he made a 25-foot par putt, and it was over. Victor flubbed the chip, and that was the end of him.
So magical. He's unstoppable.
Well, we'll see if he can get stopped because he's not the guy I'm betting this week, although I really thought about it. So Scheffler's at the top of the board. He's plus 350, plus 300, depending on where he is going to be bet at, but plus 333. Rory's 9-1. Ludwig is as high. I've seen him as high as 16. Xander's at 14. He's as high as 17 in some spots. So there's just a lot of, those are the big 4. Then it's Morikawa, Hideki, Justin Thomas, Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood. Those are sort of the big 9 in the field. And there's a big drop off depending on where you look. It's all over the place in terms of other odds. I kind of had the same instinct that you did first looking at this. I assume you bet Ludwig, and he was the name that drew the most attention to me as well.
Once I made the decision, and it's not a hard decision. I don't think I've bet him at all. Once I'm not betting Scotty, who I believe is going to win, my eyes went right to Ludwig, who opened on a 19-1 last night on DraftKings. So I was in on that. They dropped it to 18. I went in on it again. After Scotty, to me, that's the bet. That's the bet.
Seems to make the most sense. Obviously, he's in great form. He's played this tournament twice, has gained strokes putting in both of them. That's all you really want to see from him. And he obviously has the skill set. How would you rate his development versus someone like Victor at the stage Victor was at, like when you fell in love with Victor?
I mean, he's just more like the floor just was always much higher with Ludwig.
It feels that way, yeah.
Like Victor, like don't when he would run hot, and oh man, the piggybacking Torrey Pines into Bay Hill like Victor bets, probably even last year because I didn't realize Victor sucked yet. I don't think there's been a year I haven't like done that in years. But he'd get caught in these like thick Bay Hill hosels of rough, and it would screw him. Victor's just such more of a roller coaster. Like Ludwig, there's moments you wish Ludwig would like lock in a little harder, but it's not the roller coaster that Victor like ever was, to be honest.
So Ludwig, for you, I got you to bet. So I have Akshay at 75 or 80, whatever it is. When I went through the numbers on the research show, he just kept popping up the entire time. It's the only bet that I've made so far. The only other really one that I wanted to go in on, I'm thinking about Ludwig along with you, is I saw Mav McNeely at 50. And I mean, he almost just won Torrey Pines. We know that if there's going to be a big comeback stage on a Sunday, he can just make every putt. We've seen that happen before. That maybe it's time to jump back on him at 50.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, Pat, he was like 50 at the Genesis.
I think he was a bit longer than that.
Okay, you could be right, 65-ish. But I thought his Genesis odds were pretty short, which had me not really consider. But he is just playing lovely. Mav for Bethpage gonna turn up again after a lovely week here. 50 doesn't seem like enough. I will say, like I've already said, I see myself betting this thing much like Torrey Pines, where I bet Ludwig, Cantley, Tommy, Baccia, and Pendrith. It's a 5-man card. And I could see myself not betting Pendrith, but betting Ludwig's in. And I could see myself wanting this JT28 at FanDuel, even though I told myself I was done with him. Just kind of want to trust the approach. You mentioned maybe a bad putter. 28-1 at FanDuel for JT. They also have a 35 on Tommy and a 30 on Cantley. So I could honestly see myself playing two of those and being done. Just done for the week.
Interesting note about where is Pendrith on the betting board now? Where did he fall down to? Great
question. I'm seeing a 70.
75 is the biggest one that I've seen. He didn't chip or putt last week. The putting's becoming a real problem with him, which is not something I think that we expected, because that was always sort of the strength of his game. But he's still bombing it off the tee. Like the driving and approach was fine in the 2 rounds that he played at the Cognizant last week. If he can just figure out how to putt again, then I think that we're actually getting a pretty decent number on someone that we liked 2 weeks ago in a similar event and got down, like I said, to 30-1. Maybe I'm just going to lose money on Pendrith all year, but it seems like a nice buy low situation on him.
Yeah, he does a lot of the things we like. I've got no problem betting on guys with that profile and needing the putt luck. He's shown an ability. I don't even want to say he's like a spike putter. He's just shown an ability to be such a good, consistent putter that it's like totally flipped at the moment. It's a little concerning.
A little bit. I'd like him more in Puerto Rico, I suppose. But if we're going to go with anything, yeah, he's lost strokes putting in each of the 6 tournaments that he's played this year.
Crazy. And he's played well in a few of them too.
Yeah, he has top 10s he had a top 10 at the Farmers, he had a top 10 at Pebble Beach, and he's had 2 really bad turns in a row now. Although the driving has been spectacular all year long, and the approach play has been pretty good. Just the around the green and the putting kind of stinks.
Around the green, and yeah, that is true. I mean, the thing is, at a place like this, I mean, Scotty is a tier, right? And Xander coming back for the first time, he said he hasn't really picked up many golf clubs, so who knows what to make of that. But he is He is the elite. Other than the putting, Pendrith, if you trust Pendrith can putt, he is the exact player profile you want here that you assume is just sort of like plus in every category, like a Xander, but not Xander, obviously.
No, you'd have to be looking for the Kitayama route for him. Like, very rarely do big names, and even to look at, I think it was Vincenzi who actually tweeted this out, and I was like, okay, that actually did not occur to me, is that in every signature event this year, one of the favorites is won. It's been 25 to 1 or under. One of those guys has won. It's been Hideki, Ludwig, and Rory, one of the 3 signature events. Every other event this year has been won by someone 75 or 70 to 1 or higher, which I thought was a kind of a really stark contrast. Obviously, that's going to change. I just thought it was funny, just like when you separate the field so much, that's what ends up happening.
I mean, I love that. It kind of shows you as, in corresponding with one or two people this morning, like, and I've already said to you, I'm not overthinking this thing. Like how I told you, I think my card's going to be, it's just good players. If Kitayama or a Kitayama-esque clip me here, just tip the cap. But I'm not betting into that sort of player at an elevated event at Bay Hill. I'm not betting for Scotty because it just, I have too much fun building a card Monday through Wednesday, like making final decisions. It's just too much fun. And sometimes not fun than to just decide to bet Scotty. And what I'd bet, even clipping the whole week's roll, doesn't feel like I'm getting enough. But I'm going to that. I'm going into the tier of players I think should win. And if they aren't of that tier, it's exactly what you did, Pat. It's the Baccia, the guy who is back there. But I do believe in like 2 years, he is of a, because of his pedigree, like I do believe he's on the verge of elevating bigly. And him winning big events won't feel out of place. But I'm not betting anyone who I think winning something like this would feel out of place. And honestly, Pendrith is clearly in that bucket, right?
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, it would be kind of crazy if he ended up winning. But the way that I was thinking about McNeely is kind of the same way that I was thinking about Akshay, is that, maybe in 2 years, you're like, oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense now.
Absolutely. And the guy is playing unconscious. And his ability to if he's not in trouble off the tee, his ability to approach and putt in what should be a harder scoring event, like that's gonna play in aces. And I don't know if people will have the guts to bet him outright because it's a huge ask, but I assume he'll be like so popular in DFS this week.
Thursday, we're getting an average of 17 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 30. And then it's fine Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's an average wind speed of 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 40. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's crazy. It almost makes me think I should just bet Ludwig, bet nobody, and then maybe like bet some chasers.
That's probably the move, to see who can like get themselves out in front or have a good Saturday to get themselves back into it. Now, obviously, that win could shift. When I looked at it yesterday, it was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. That was the problem. And now, like Wednesday, a lot of the worst weather from Thursday moved into Wednesday. So maybe it's all just moving up a day. But I do think that there is something for this tournament to put out there. Like Zalatoris is somewhat interesting to me as well. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Zalatoris, but 50 to 1 seems fair. Henley's at 45. This would be the week for Henley to get everyone, wouldn't it?
Honestly, like you can have your Henley. I'd be more likely to play.
I'm not talking about betting Henley. I'm talking about if Henley wins this week, 0 people will have bet him.
Yeah, I think Lowry could be in the same boat. Who I think they're very similar, probably right there with each other in odds. I'd trust, right? Popular last week, for sure. I'd put him in the same boat. I like your Zal call. I don't mind that at all. If I was building like a balanced card, I'm pretty certain Zalatoris would be on it. But I don't know that I'll be in a balanced build mode.
Yeah, you get. I think if you were trying to pick off those guys, I think Wyndham Clark will probably be pretty popular this week. Cust picked Keegan Bradley as his one and done, which maybe he'll end up winning. Who knows? But it just seems kind of shocking. I would go like Zalatoris, Bobby Mack, Lowry, like that type of player. Those would be like the 3 I think, from around that range I would want to go with. This used to be a Victor Hovland jam.
Oh, the jam. I thought like if you told me Victor, like the odds on Victor winning Bay Hill before a place like Memorial would have been minus 300. Like, yeah, this felt like the total Vic jam, odds jam. Also though, like we had mentioned Berger and made a lot about how many people had bet him. But I did see a tweet from like one of the data guys, might have even been Drew Matthews before Sunday. Like Berger was playing great despite like struggling because he was plus across the board. Like he was delivering the perfect PGA National profile, but he was just bleeding in weird spots and found himself in a little too much trouble at times. But that's the profile. Like his ability to do that could, resemble what Kitayama did here.
I could see that. I mean, it was a big coastal thing for Kitayama as well. He just plays well at coastal courses. And the fact that it played harder, because remember that those 2 years, and if the wind ends up elevating the entire field, I think you're probably going to get a more random winner, or at least that's more on the table. So if you do think that it's a little bit trickier in terms of the wind, it's going to play a bit more difficult, I actually don't mind. What I might do is take like 4 guys, 50 to 1 and beyond, make that my card, and then save my actual like bullet or 2 for the weekend to get one of the better names and hope 2 of my guys can get into that mix. Because even the year Kitayama won, there was 14 guys within 3 strokes of the lead going down to the back 9. You just have to hope for the guy who makes his putts at that point.
I mean, like, do mid players even contend here in the end?
Well, let's go to that year. I mean, it's tough to say because this wasn't an elevated event. So let's think about the year that Hatton won, right? Remember that year when we actually had a winner here?
Yes, that was lovely.
So if we think about that, I'm trying to think of who was in the mix. Well, the first year that Scotty won, it was Victor.
What year was Hatton?
Hatton was 2020. It was right before COVID, I think. And so the year that Scotty won, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Scotty won at -5. Victor was at -4. Woodland was at -4. Billy Horschel was at -4. Like, it wasn't the who's who necessarily. Arnold Palmer 2022. Let's see. Second place finish for Billy Horschel. So the leaderboard that year was Scheffler, Hovland, Horschel, Hatton, Kirk, Woodland, Gooch, Lucas Herbert, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sam Burns. That was the top 10.
Okay.
That's not the who's who. And then in 2023, when Kitayama won, it was Kitayama, Rory, Harris English. Harris English might actually be a look here. Like, he did just win Farmers.
The more I'm staring at this, not that I would make the bet, I might rather Rory at double than Scotty.
Rory's always up there in this tournament. It does seem.
Yeah.
Like he has a great course history. He only has the 1 win, though. But Kitayama wins. Kitayama, Rory, and Harris English. Jordan, Hatton, Cantlay, Scotty, Trey Mullenix, Davis Riley. There's your top 10. And they were all within 3 shots.
Going back to 17, Rory 4th, 1st, 6th, 5th, 10th, 13th, 2nd, 21st last year.
Even last year. Now, last year's a little bit weird because Scotty wins by 5 strokes, so everyone's kind of out of it. But after Scotty on the leaderboard, it's Wyndham Clark, Lowry, Henley, Zalatoris, Thigala, Todd, Griot, Putnam, Ben Ann.
McNally's never really played here.
No, I don't think that matters. Not everyone back-to-back here.
Oh, no, McNeely's played. He's never just played that great, but he makes the cut, finishes at the bottom.
Are you shocked at how much Thigala has dropped on the betting board? Like, could you have envisioned a scenario where Thigala right now, and Ben Ann for that matter, Ben Ann is 110 to 1, Harris English is 110 to 1, Thigala is 100 to 1, Michael Kim is 65 to 1.
Yeah, form kills. I'd rather bet Thigala at 100 He finished 6th here last year. Oh, he's just so all over the place right now, eh? Just untrustable.
He is. And the other one I would kind of give some credence to at the same time, if I'm going to go that route, the two guys would be Dietrich, who did just win. Good Tory record. I could see him doing okay here. But Davis Thompson, who was dominating the Genesis for 2.5 days and then fell off the face of the earth. He's 90-1.
Yep, bet him last week at 45.
He was in the field
I don't
last
mind
week.
that call. Pardon?
He was in the field last week.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just went and looked at his numbers. He gained 2 strokes off the tee, gained 1.2 strokes on approach. He lost over a stroke per round putting and around the green. So it's not like the ball striking was bad.
Yeah, the guys at the and Pendrith, it's just whatever. It's just
Bad week.
yeah, and I was proud of myself for not even like reinvesting. Just take your bad week, move on. We got some fun golf coming up. What were we saying? Oh, yeah, I don't mind that Davis Thompson at 90. It doesn't scare me.
So maybe that's what it will be. Maybe I'll go like Pendrith, Mav, Akshay. Akshay's the only one I have in so far. Thompson, Harris, English, something like that. Put those 5 together. I mean, it's a very low investment week. And then see what's happening through 3 days and see if I can grab one of the big names as a chaser or just luck out in one of these guys. You know, it's that week no one tunes in because Davis Thompson's up by 7 or something stupid.
If I bet on Davis Thompson and he is up by 7, I assure you I will be putting some shekels on some chasers.
on everyone else on the board.
Yeah, like I'll be trying to do a GRP and like cornering the market on this, and in the end, I'm sure I'd get trapdoored by a Highsmith or something.
Yeah, everyone has to go through that once though. I remember when it happened to me. It was at the Greenbrier. Forget who I had. It was either It was either Danny Lee or David Hearn, because I think both of them ended up in the playoff. And I think it was Danny Lee who broke his Robert Streb, maybe. One of them broke their putter and had to putt with a wedge in the playoff. I vividly remember that. But I tried to hedge my bet on someone, and it was like the 4th guy who ended up winning. It's like, oh my God. Like I just lost like 10 times the money I thought I was going to win and try to perfectly hedge out, but then you forget there are other people in the field too. Like unless you get into a direct head-to-head situation, it's nearly impossible to hedge in golf.
Yeah, no, there are too many trapdoors, but like you said, and Pizzola talks about it all the time. Like in a past life, he was a horrible losing better. What you said, that happened to me like 10, 15 years ago. You learn a lesson, you learn it once or twice. You do not need to learn it again in terms of thinking you are protecting your guy up 3 strokes, cornering the outright and then trapdoors everywhere. It's the PGA Tour. Yeah. So yeah, you learn that lesson once. It's usually enough to know.
So that's where I'm at. Maybe I'll take a Rory plunge. Maybe that's what I'll just end up doing by the time Wednesday comes around. But this is where I'm really focused on right now, is down at the bottom of the board, try to build up some guys who might have a chance and then figure the rest out.
Yeah. I've got nothing I've got nothing important to add when I'm thinking about betting Ludwig and Tommy. I've been really good with Tommy. Not that I need credit from people. We were on a long hiatus, and I thought Torrey Pines, it plays like a U.S. Open, so that should be the place I'm allowed to bet Tommy, and it was a cheat week. And I bet Tommy. But you know what the problem now is, Pat? It's like cheating again. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you fall off the wagon. It's one thing, you get a cheat week, I earned it. But like when you stack cheat weeks, the pants don't fit. So, don't want to bet Justin Thomas. Ugh. And then come on the show next week telling you how I'm never betting Justin Thomas again. Right? Like you could just write, it writes itself. Won't even have to do the show. You can just play a clip from any time in the past 2 years. Me talking about Justin Thomas. I could show up 12 minutes later after you start. Yeah. Tommy, Ludwig's in one of for sure, at least one of Thomas at 28, 30 for Cantlay, 35 for Tommy. I'm looking at FanDuel right now. I'm seeing some strong numbers
Let's move
for
to
those guys.
Let's do Puerto Rico very quickly. I know we gave the picks off the top. I'm just staring at the board right now. The thing I don't understand about the DraftKings odds, it has Stevens and Novak as the two favorites. They're not even playing. They're playing at Bay Hill.
DraftKings won't let me bet it.
That's probably why, because they have people as the two favorites in the field who aren't playing in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't see anywhere else of anyone who's posted odds on it yet, as we're speaking right now. I think they're trying to confirm who's in this tournament and who's not, because I did see a huge slew of players, WD, the Monday morning, like very, very early. 9 guys withdrew from the field. It wasn't anyone that I was planning on betting, but either way, like it's hard to put out an odds board when you legit don't know who's there. But I will say, Rico, I mean, are you going to bet? Because Rico's 40 right now, but obviously those two names at the top are going to affect the odds once they pull them off the board. When you get a chance and Rico's like 25-1, you want to do that?
I don't know about that. What do we think? Like, once they actually fix the board, though, what is Paul's boy Novak going to be?
Novak's in Bay Hill.
Yeah.
So
I'm
zero. No bet.
I'm looking because a couple other prices have posted the player list, but no prices yet. Like, they're getting ready. They're trying to be prepared to release something. I'm in on Hoy. Hopefully we can catch something fair. You're gonna have me. I'm gonna have to circle around Ben Coles now because you told me that's your favorite bet. But I don't know. Can you remind me like the player profile I want here?
Well, Victor Hovland won this once. Brendan Grace won it the next year, and Bryce Garnett won last year. So I can't. No. You tell me what Bryce Garnett and Victor Hovland have in common, except for both being terrible now. But other than that, I don't know.
Okay, but like when a player like Victor wins something like this, I don't like even consider that part of the baseline, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Like he's so much above this that it just skews what the winner probably is. But yeah, I don't see a link. I see no common threads.
Guys that putt well on pass Palom. But most of the pass Palom tournaments that we get don't have strokes gains. You have to guess. Martin Trainer, but he withdrew.
Like, you've been on this Rosner wagon. You're gonna like this. You're gonna stay on something like that?
I didn't even see that he was playing. He made a run on Saturday. He got himself up to 12 under at Cognizant. I was like, man, just post this 12, and you will have a chance for another good round here and cash the 175. And I think he finished at -4 for the tournament. He just went off. He hit the bear trap on Saturday, and that was the end of him.
But I'd happily just pepper the middle here, like with Hoy, and then go further up with like a Hayden Springer, Goddard.
Yeah. So just so Rico, I mean, if he drops below 30-1, I probably can't get there. I'm not a big Ryan Gerard guy like everyone seems to be. I'd probably rather bet Adam Svensson or Adam Schenk, someone like that, or Pearson Cooney, who's in the field this week as well. But other than that, yeah, Rosner, Coles. You mentioned Hayden Springer. I like him. Norlander ripped it up, but could not make a putt 2 weeks ago. So that'd be something. Goddard at 55, I actually think is a very good number. So you could go like Goddard, Toasty. I'm just trying to look down the list here. We've seen some big numbers win at this tournament. So I wouldn't be. I mean, everyone bet Danny Willett 2 weeks ago. Why not? Or last week? Why not bet him here?
I would. Yeah. Where I haven't even scrolled the whole field. I absolutely would. Danny Milt was just missing 4-footers.
Was he? Was that actually what happened, or is that what you think happened?
I didn't follow it that closely, but every time I checked in on my boy, he was missing a 4-footer.
Did he make the cut?
No.
Danny Willett lost 4 strokes on approach and was positive putting and gained 3 strokes around the green.
Okay. Well, on the Thursday round 1, it was just short miss after short miss. But I don't deny the data.
Let's see. Do we have anyone else? Adam Long? Cust guy? Remember when Cust picked Adam Long to win that tournament despite never having heard of him? and then
I
ret-
saw
and
Adam Long was.
then Cust retroactively made it up that he picked him.
Not gonna lie, Pat, there is like a subset of golfer who I can admit I'm just really not too familiar with once I scroll past like this 80-1 guys.
Would you want to get in on Justin Hastings? I guess is my question. He performed pretty well at Mexico. He's an AM. But yeah, he's in all. He was the Latin American champion, so he's in the Masters. He's in the U.S. Open. I believe he's in the Open Championship as well. And in his first start, let's see here, Hastings. He played in Mexico last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and he did everything besides chip. That's fine. He was 13th in Mexico in his first ever start. He played in this event last year and missed the cut, but he's at a pretty deep number for someone who's probably actually good.
How big's the number?
120? Like he's the same number as Danny Willett, who might be.
You could be right. Building this card might be more fun than building the Bay Hill card.
For sure. Like at the Bay Hill card, it's like, oh, I'm going to take these guys who are good, but probably have no chance of beating Scotty. Like if you told me Norm Zhang won Puerto Rico, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, that's the problem.
By the way, Norm Zhang, 170-1.
He's been, I don't want to say he's been playing well and then you'll have like facts thrown at me, but I just feel like I've seen it. Maybe just getting into fields is me giving him credit. I'm not really sure what's gone on there.
He played at, where was it? He was good at Torrey the first time around, I feel like. I think he fell off by the end of the week, but he had started very strong there. Yeah, he finished 40th at the Farmers. That was the last time he actually played on the PGA Tour. Let's see, official world golf rankings. Let's see how he's been doing on Corn Ferry. Cootie has been tearing it up on Corn Ferry.
What are his odds? 40?
He's like 35-1, something like that.
Yeah.
They're aware that he's playing good golf.
I guess. I mean, that's the problem. You're just going to have to swallow it on guys you like and believe they're winners.
I mean, Cootie's only played 2 PGA events this year. He played Farmers and he played last week at the Cog and missed the cut in both. But he's been top 10 in every Corn Ferry start so far. Do you see who won on Corn Ferry in Argentina?
Anderson or something? Matt Anderson?
Yeah,
I
believe Matt Anderson's a Canadian guy, isn't he?
I don't know. Who won?
Justin Suh.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought he did something in Europe. I saw he got into the Open, and I wasn't sure how the fuck he did that.
Oh, Justin Suh got into the Open?
I swear they sent out a congratulatory tweet. He was part of a long list of guys who got into the Open this weekend.
Yeah, former #1 amateur wins Argentina Open to punch ticket to 20. I didn't realize. I guess because the Argentina Open's a national open.
Yeah.
They probably give the winner a direct link in.
Good for them. Super cool. Okay, maybe I saw the people had money on the guy that he beat then.
Oh, maybe. I don't know who he beat. Mason Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, okay, what did I say, Anderson? I made up a name.
You said Matt Anderson, who I believe is a Canadian golfer who was like won the Canadian Tour last year.
Close with Mason Anderson. I think our boy Tom Jacobs got nipped on that. But he plays the placing, so I'm sure it's a big number. Good for him.
Any interest in this Hong Kong tournament for LIV?
LIV to me, I'm telling you, at the moment just feels unbettable because I don't want to go against the big four with anyone. I don't think there's enough money to bet a guy at like 22, 25-1 against those big four at the top. And I don't trust myself to figure out which fucking total lackey would come from the clouds.
I've just been betting Burmeister every week, so I'll probably do that. I think he has the best ball strike. I'm going to bet Herbert and Dean Burmeister. So 30-1, 30-1. Those will be my 2 LIV bets.
It's not enough.
It's enough. There's like 3 guys in this field. It's LIV. You think
I saw
you could bet you could bet DJ at 90-1 if you want to.
Oh, it's sad. I'm willing to, because I love him so much. And I scroll to the bottom and I don't want to see him there. around some of the retired athletes on the tour. So I watched. Brooks was like around a bit last week. Pat, he was at the TGL, chumming it up. And Brooks, like, to his credit, he's a likable guy. You can tell his peers really like him. He's never said anything at any point to piss off like the PGA. Like, he never did like a Sergio or a Westwood. Like, he just never got on his high horse about LIV, if I'm making any sense. Like, he's just kind of he just shuts up and golfs and shows up to the majors. He did this 10-minute interview with Joe Pompillo.
Sounds like a real
I'm
name.
probably pronouncing that wrong, but the guy does a lot of sports business stuff. And I want to be like gracious towards Brooks, but his whole, like, the interview was so frustrating because they're like, you're the GM, you're the owner, you're the golfer. He's like, yeah, I like to like be in on everything. I like to be in the know about the league and the tour and the teams. That's why, like, I keep my plate full. I don't do anything half-assed. Okay, fine. That makes sense. Any question, right? Like, I like to be in the know. Any question about anything, I'm not in the know. I'm not around. I'm not in those meetings. I don't have a clue. No one asked me anything. I was like, okay. That was like the weirdest interview I ever fucking watched. As long as you had your ears open for the first 3 minutes, the last 5 made no fucking sense. But good on you, Brooks.
I got a name for you. 600 to 1 in this LIV field. You ready for it?
What?
Phil Mickelson.
Oh, maybe.
Top 10 is 20 to 1 or something crazy like that.
I don't have a clue.
I don't mean to go. I was looking at the LIV data because I have like the LIV backend, so I was looking at it, and Burmeister and Puig are the 2 best ball strikers on tour. But Phil in his 3 rounds has actually like been quite good, just hasn't been able to putt. Just like Yubin Zhang is like 3rd or 7th on tour in ball striking.
Yeah, I'd love to bet David Puig. I'm just not betting him at 20 to fucking 1.
No, you can bet
those
Burmeister
4 or 5 guys.
Bet Burmeister at 30.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Like, Rahm at 7 seems like such a better bet.
I mean, how often does Rahm win on LIV?
So little that he fucking cried last year when he won.
Phil, 600 to 1 with an each way. Man, I can get like 100 to 1 or 125 to 1 on his top 8 or something. I might do that.
I don't I don't mean to go backwards. We'll be done here in a moment. But I can't find him. The guy like 2 weeks ago in Mexico, everyone was betting at like 700 to 1. Solar?
He's like 200 to 1. He's 200 to 1. Cristobal de Soler.
Okay. Just curious. I wasn't knocking. I was just curious if that guy's here and what the price is.
You can bet on Jason Duffner this week. Santiago de la Fuentes at 700 to 1. Sung Kang, gotta be Kang, 1,000 to 1. Herminator, 1,000 to 1. Nick Watney, 2,000 to 1. My main, I just mentioned David Hearn. He has the worst odds in the field, 2,000 to 1.
This is like an alumni game.
This
it's like great. A PGA Tour alumni.
Fishburne.
Oh, it's a little depressing. I've scrolled to the bottom here. Yeah, we were like, where's John Merrick?
He used to only get into Riv because he had won there before. The elephant man, John Merrick. All right.
Holy shit.
Quick.
The only thing I'll take from the back of the board, Pat, is how Davis Riley has fallen.
He was just 40th at the Cog. What's he at now? 200 to 1. I'll bet. You know what? I will bet Davis Riley this week. And what about Hayden Buckfuck? Has he been doing anything?
You could play the game with me versus this. Like Cam could do a thing like lawyer, like the law firm of Goodwin and Dixon. Like, is that a real law firm or 2 guys in the Puerto Rico Open?
I mean, Hayden Buckley has been good for the past 8 months or so, he has missed 16 cuts and made the cut once. So he's like due to win Puerto Rico. That's how this works in Puerto Rico. The most random dude ends up winning.
It's just annoying because it'd just be naming names, but we do kind of keep tabs here, and then I'm literally done on the naming names. A couple weeks ago, I'd mentioned that ADDC went to like Europe and played well, and it was weird. And I'm like, we should bet him in Mexico, and he wasn't even in the Mexico field. Maybe that was just like him on his own schedule, but I'd be looking for a number this week.
Is he?
Was he 80 to 1, 70 to 1?
Is he in this field?
I see him listed as a website is preparing to drop names, but they also have Novak listed, so he might not be in the field.
I
don't have odds yet.
I don't see him in here right now, but we'll have to wait until that all officially comes out. I mean, Thirsty Lawrence is at like 55 to 1 as well. He's someone that I've been kind of on. But Davis Riley at 200 is like not a bad shout. He did win a tournament last year.
Yeah. Blaze Brown.
Okay, well now you're just naming names. Yeah, I thought Phillips was your new young guy that you wanted to bet on.
Which one?
Phillips.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. I could get over that though. That was just like he passed the first time I've ever seen you eye test. We'll just leave it at that.
I did like the numbers, and I just in general like Vince Whaley, but it's tough to see him getting over the edge here. He played well towards the end of the swing. He had back-to-back top tens. I mean, Joe Highsmith had a great run through the swing season. Then he won. Maybe it's time for Vince Whaley to actually go get himself a win here. Who knows? He did gain 5 strokes putting last week and came top 35 at the Cognizant. But I want to do the quick picks for all the tournaments. The only bet I have in so far for Bay Hill is Akshay, and I'll probably end up on Mav at 55 to 1. And then we'll figure out the rest as the week goes along. I'll have the newsletter right up. I'll have the final bet show on Wednesday live, 9 a.m. Eastern time with Tambo. For LIV, I'm going Herbert and Dean, the missing putting machine, both at 30 to 1 in Hong Kong. I might bet Phil with a top 8 each way at 600 to 1. And then for Puerto Rico, Ben Coles for sure. Once the market opens, I'll probably join you on Phillips. I'll probably bet Hastings, and then I'll figure out the rest. If Rico's still 40, I'll bet him too.
I'm not for surely on Phillips. I mean, we'll see. I don't want to bet like a very popular Phillips. Like when I literally feel like Tim does after watching a golfer for the first time. That being said, the bet that's in, it's Ludwig, it's 19 to 1, and I'm staring at a JT 28 or a Tommy 35. If I bet down the board, it's probably tailing Pat on Baccia with pedigree. As for Puerto Rico, Hoy and Willett.
I appreciate your loyalty to Danny Willett.
Yeah, listen, I don't think he played horrible last week in me like tracking from a distance. And he was like 9th at Torrey Pines a month ago. So I'm going to bet him here at what's it going to be? 100 to 1?
110 to 1. Yes.
Yeah. Come on. That's it's not, it'd be funny. If he was like a better golfer, Pat, in the last 8 years, there's a good chance I'd have given back way too much of the money that we won on him. But because he's kind of been so bad and dealt with a lot of injury, it's really just out of sight, out of mind. And when you bet him, he's like 100 to 1. And he won a crazy one. He outdueled Rahm once at like Wentworth a few years ago for me too. Oh, what a chap. 110 to 1 in Puerto Rico. Sign me up.
One and done picks for Bay Hill. Cust has selected Keegan Bradley. As I mentioned, you finished ahead of me because I had Nikolai last week and you had Lowry, so you get the first pick over me.
I get the first pick. I'm probably not going to use it like I should. And I'm looking at what I've done this year thanks to Chris. So I won't make that mistake again. Even though Chris didn't catch my mistake from last week.
Yeah, you're looking at it in the spreadsheet right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Chris know. I'm going to go with Justin Thomas.
All right, I will take Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, makes sense. It's elevated. It pays. He'll win.
It's a good time to use him. Like I don't want to use him at the Masters because I think that everyone's going to use him at the Masters. Might as well just use him now. Get it out of the way. hopefully cash my $4 million payday. And, if he wins the Masters, then at least I still got within 500K of that big win. And hopefully that the combination of my Scotty pick and whoever I took at the Masters will work out to be higher than the summation of everything else of the other picks that come in by whoever you take this week if you take Scotty at the Masters. So that's where I'm at. So Scotty for me, JT for Geoff, and Keegan for Cust. Would you play like a Keegan level player in an elevated event like this?
No, I wouldn't. I feel like I cheaped out by going Thomas. I should absolutely have picked a higher level player, but he's just approaching so well right now. As long as I don't get blown out with wind, he's going to play well.
All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. You and I shall return tomorrow with Cust as we talk some NFL. Then we got Tambo on Wednesday. I don't know what we're doing on Thursday. And then we're going to start Players Week probably on Friday. Like I mentioned, either going player by player or figuring out some fun combination, do a first look at the players before we really dig in with the research and then all the normal shows. Best bets coming back for the players as well on that Tuesday. So everyone, stay tuned to the Pat Mayo Experience. Give me your favorite duo that you mix up in the description or the comment section on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube in order to get into that draw for a free year of Fantasy National. And I will see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!